Hello and welcome to another episode of GrangeTV. Not a full episode. We're just going to talk about the Jake Paul, Nate Robinson fight on the weekend. Eli, what do you think?
I don't know. I like it for like the entertainment factor, I guess. But like if you're a purist boxer and just enjoy fighting, it's got to sort of two sides to it. Like it obviously brings a lot of people to the sport, but I'm not a big fan of people just thinking they're athletes and coming into the sport and being able to dominate just because they're athletes, or being able to perform well just because they're athletes. That's my opinion, and that was Nate all over. I feel like just because he was a great NBA player, an athlete, he thought he could just come into the sport and do well in it.
But in
Without
fairness,
taking
he
it
was
serious.
fighting another novice.
A novice, but someone who's taking it very serious.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean? He's training properly. He's actually sparring. There's been speculation out there that Nate Robinson in his whole camp didn't even spar.
right.
How
Okay.
can you go into a fucking fight, into a fist fight? Do you know what I mean? With someone who's taking it serious, and you have not even had a spar like that. That's not on.
What do you think about Jake Paul? Because my take on him is like you said, he's taking it. You know who he reminds me of? He's taking it very serious. You know who he reminds me of? Mundine. No, but he does. He reminds me of Mundine, but later on, not stylistically, but just the fact that the guys that well, Mundine switched from rugby league,
Yep.
but back then there was no YouTube like that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? There wasn't social media the way that there is today when Mundine switched over. And had there have been, Mundine would have used that tenfold. You know, Mundine would have been one of those dudes that had millions of followers
Yeah.
to begin with. And so he was able to go and leverage off that and leverage off his notoriety. And he'd had 4 amateur boxing fights before going up
Yep.
to pro fighting. And I see that same similar kind of thing with Jake Paul. And Mundine actually went over to boxing at 25. Jake Paul's at 23. He's had his second pro fight.
Yeah.
And I wonder how far you think he can actually go. Because a lot of people would have said Mundine can't go that far.
Yeah, I don't know about him going that far. I feel like there's still some big fights out there for him because of his platform. Do you know what I mean? Because he's so popular. But I don't see him becoming like a world champion or a top ranked fighter. I just feel that he'll be in the sport. He will have some really competitive fights because he is taking it very serious. But I can't see him being a top fighter, like, do you know what I mean, fighting the likes of who was on that card, Badu or someone like that. Like, I just can't see him being in that top rank. There's going to be celebrity fights out there, which again, I like as a boxing purist, do I enjoy it? Not so much when it's something like that fight that we just seen on the weekend, but hopefully it can be a platform for other fighters to get out there, because I think the views were
insane
because of him. Do you know what I mean? Because he has that many followers. So I would love to see some really good fighters on them type of cards, or him on their cards, and really trying to boost boxing back up. I think even
Is it good or bad for boxing? Guys, by the way, like, subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications, and let us know your thoughts and your comments down below. We will try and get back to all of you. This is just our opinion. We want to hear yours.
Is it good for boxing? It is good for boxing if you have them really talented boxers on the card and that as well, when they're part of the spotlight. I don't think it's good for boxing when we have them guys co-main event for Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think good for boxing. If you split them two and they go on other cards where there's good boxers and they get the spotlight, then I feel like it's good for boxing. But just to see like all these celebrity fights, and I don't know, for me it was just a whole gimmick with all the music. Do you know what I mean? The concert happening in between and that, and the fucking people commentating and stuff like that. Like, I like Snoop Dogg as a fucking rapper, like, but as a commentator, fuck off. Like, no one else got a chance, and he just, I don't know, just made it all
I found it a little bit
circus for me.
uncomfortable, and I
Yeah, just
understand.
a fucking circus.
I understand that he's not a fighter, and I enjoy his music too. No, I don't really listen to it. I wouldn't even know what the latest song is, but I appreciate that he does it. And he's obviously amazingly successful. I just find that real weird, man, when dude's been hurt real bad and he was like singing and carrying on, and I found that to be like a little bit, and he probably doesn't mean it because he's probably never been in an actual proper fight himself. And so I find that he probably doesn't understand like how hurt that guy is and how humiliating it is to get hurt
Yeah.
like that. You know what I mean? Um,
Not
and
just that, it didn't give the other guys a chance to really get in and have, you know what I mean? You had some real professionals on there that would be able to give a really good insight and input onto what was going on out there, but he just didn't shut up. He just didn't shut the fuck up. And it was the same when he was on the Contender Series with Uriah Hall. No, Uriah Faber. Do you remember when he
no.
did mate, it was horrible. So, love Snoop Dogg. Good on you.
But you think
know
a
what I mean?
lot of
You're a
people,
superstar.
that's you, you're a boxing coach, you've fought boxing. Do you think that a lot of people are just happy to hear no, but honestly, just happy to hear Snoop Dogg, you know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I think so.
Which is fair enough then.
Unfortunately.
Then like he's
Yeah.
doing his job, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's there to bring in, I suppose, a completely different audience that doesn't get to listen to they're not going to listen to Michael Chavello or
Yeah.
Ray Sefu or, you know, I'm not going to say Joe Rogan because Joe Rogan has a massive following himself, but I'm saying like, and he's a brilliant commentator, but Jimmy Smith, guys like this, that people aren't going to listen to him necessarily as like readily as they're going to listen to a Snoop Dogg or someone like that. The thing I found, what do you think of Jake Paul talent wise?
It was. I think that fight was hard to sort of. You know, I mean, he's obviously he's worked very hard and he is taking it serious. I just feel it was hard to scale him on that fight because Nate, in all honesty, wasn't much of an opponent. Like, do you know what I mean? He didn't really know what he was doing in there.
I'll put to you, sir. I'll put to you in Jake Paul's defense. He made me a fan, actually. He made me a fan. I never even knew about him, to be honest.
I
with you.
honestly didn't know who he was.
And that's
two of them, isn't there?
Logan Paul, his brother. I knew Logan Paul because he wrestled. But now when I sat down, no, because I don't really like. I'm not involved in that stuff in Instagram and YouTube and all of that. But he won me over because he wasn't an idiot after the fight. Like he was respectful to Nate. And when you're listening to him, it sounds like the guy's taking it serious. I'm not talking about his off out of the ring antics, etc. I'm just saying like.
So I wouldn't know about that.
I'm just learning from people. But I will say this: you watch his first fight, you watch his second fight, he has improved. And I've seen other guys that are professional boxers that have had Olympic pedigree fight guys worse than Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like on their way through. So I'm looking at him and I think why let's say in 3 or 4 years when he's had, 10 or so of those fights and his levels getting better and better and better, why we can't see something like similar to Mundine's climb. Because Mundine's was very similar, dude.
Yeah.
You know this after the fact.
Yeah.
We all know after the fact that Mundine became world champion, etc. We know this after the fact. But when Mundine started boxing, and if we look at his first few, like at the first few guys that he fought, they were not world beaters.
Yeah. Sure.
By any, and I like Mundine as a fan. Like I don't agree with everything he says, but I think as a boxer, I've always liked him. But I don't think anyone would have said, "Oh, he's going to be world champion" after his first couple of fights that he had.
Yeah, no, true that.
So, I'm not saying Jake Paul will be a world champion. I'm just asking people what they think.
Is that Jake Paul's goal, but to be world champion, or is it more just for these mega fights that is going to have big cash?
Well, if you're calling out McGregor, I think McGregor's a little bit too much for you. I think that's a guy that can really box and really bang.
But he's
a lot bigger than McGregor, but still McGregor would hurt him bad, put him in a point box. But I just think look, the fight itself, one thing that I didn't like that they didn't stop the fight in the first round. Nate Robinson is not, he's an NBA player, a fantastic athlete, but he's not a fighter. We're not talking, this isn't a fight like, it's not Frankie Edgar versus Gray Maynard where you go, I've seen Frankie fight a bunch of times and this guy deserves to go out on his shield. Nate Robinson showed a ton of heart, a ton of balls to get in there, but he's not like the moment that he got hurt.
Yeah.
And you could see like he credit to him, he wanted to keep going. He could have stopped and think, but you're there to protect. And this is a guy with no fights, an absolute amateur that would be more at home at a PCYC fight.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And you let this guy take 3 massive knockdowns. The last one left him for dead, like I feel that was really messed up. I think that after the first knockdown, it was probably a slow count too, in my opinion, but regardless of whether it was a slow count or not, that's it, man. You're a guy that's past your prime. That's not.
No, he didn't. You could sort of see even at that stage, it didn't feel like he wanted to be there 100%. He was more concerned about the back of his head, which people argue he got hit in the back of the head, but he didn't want to give his gloves, did he? He was more concerned about, do you know what I mean, how he got dropped.
But it's not. It's, you know what it is. It's not a criticism. It's of him, because he did what he was meant to do. It's just the fact that when you have guys that are inexperienced, as soon as something like that happens, it's done.
Yeah.
You know, if it's, to me, if they were sparring in the gym, like just sparring, and he got dropped like that, you'd call it.
Yeah.
True or not?
Yeah, 100%.
Probably not you, because you're an animal. You have 14-year-old kids just get knocked down 18 times. But no, but in all honesty, if someone got knocked like that, at sparring, like he did the first time, you're looking at him and his eyes aren't good, you're going to let him keep going?
But
if he's a novice?
What about his cornermen?
Yeah.
Well, do you know what I mean? They got to put a little bit back on them guys as well, because they should really go, all right, this is a little bit out of our depth. We don't want you getting hurt, which, do you know what I mean? No one wants to see anyone get hurt.
And he got hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, bad. No, he got hurt. Yeah, bad.
But if he was asleep, dude, like face down, like bad. And
there was no need.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because that was going to happen. You could see that, you know what I mean? It was going to happen. And I don't feel there was a chance of him winning that fight. So if the referee or your corner knows there's a chance of, how the fuck did their corner go, hold on, Nate could still come back here? No, he fucking can't. He's never even fucking sparred before.
I don't know that he hasn't sparred.
Oh, I don't know. They're the rumors out there.
Let's assume that he has.
Yeah.
Let's assume that he has.
But then you still know, you would have seen how he can perform.
That's it. That's my point. Even more to your point.
Yeah. So,
you know, you've seen the guy spar.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think for Jake Paul. What you think, is he the real deal? Is he not? Does he have the talent to keep going further with it? What do you think he wants to do with it? Let us know. Thank you very much, guys.